Hello dear viewer and welcome back to this review of Monster Sanctuary on Steam specifically. I'm Brian aka Jalanon at Lunar Nebula Gaming. This is the menu screen. You got some options in here if you need to take a look at those. You can play the game with a controller. I preferred the keyboard personally, but I think it would actually be easier with a controller, just as a heads up. This was created by Dennis Sinner at Moi Rai Games. It's published by Team 17, and it is pretty good, in my opinion. So let's go into how it is good. So right now I've reached the ultimate level. I've cleared almost all the map. I've beaten the story mode and the DLC of the Forgotten World, and I have some friends. Ooh. So yes, Monster Sanctuary is basically a Metroidvania meets Pokemon. So how that works is you explore the world much like you would a Metroid game or Castlevania game, hence Metroidvania. And you get better abilities to explore the world by catching different creatures, or hatching, I should say. So like my Dragonor here can fly, which is pretty useful. We've also got a swimmer somewhere. You can swim. So if we go in here, we can go down into the water further and go up in the water as well. Because without swimming, you can just sink like a rock. And as you can see here, we now have a double jump, which is also pretty useful for exploring, and excellent in its own way. There are treasure chests, there are NPCs to find and talk to, and overall, you can hold quite a few different creatures in the back here. So, another nice little thing they've done is give you the ability to use crystal shards to teleport you back to the Keeper's stronghold pretty easily. There are different things you can do with your monsters, like give them equipment, which is actually very important in the late game. Some are more unique items, they have that yellow border around them, and they can all be upgraded to +5. You can go to this blacksmith and find different things in treasure chests around the sanctuary. However, you can also find these items just by having them drop from random battles and things. So, let us go back and find a battle, shall we? Which is not here. As you can see, there are also puzzles here, like this. Yes. So, you will eventually want to just use these nice little teleports. Other than that, you can check out the map. You unlock the map as you go. So, let's see if I can show off a portion that I haven't explored. You can basically find little bits of the map like right here. You can see that's not fully explored because there's no lighter purple border there. Alright, we will now go look for a combat. It is nice to note that some of the explorer abilities are able to help you avoid fights, and you can get smoke bombs and things as well if you don't want to fight something. By default, Monster Sanctuary makes it so that basically the newer areas will correspond to the levels of your current characters. Right now, when I found these people, we were around level 23, level 25. So we should handily be able to deal with this. Let's Cataclysm here. There we go. As you can see, combat is 3v3 in general, unless it's a champion monster. Champion monsters have more HP, they can attack multiple times in a turn, etc., etc. Let's get our ice shield up here, get some shielding. That's the blue bar above our white health bar there. And then actually you can take these out, huh, Chewie? Chewie's normally our defender, so he's there to kind of add shields, tank hits sometimes, like 25% of the time, and so on and so forth. So let's take out this goblin miner, and then I think we're done here. There we go. Alright, victory. So you get rated on your victory, and you get better drops depending on how good you did. So higher loot chance, higher money, good stuff. So we got combo potion, more money, and steel. You can also make it so that everything is at the highest level possible in the Monster Sanctuary. I did not do that yet because I had wanted to be able to breeze through things if I needed to farm for things, and so on and so forth. We can also, as you see here, have 6 kind of active members, but we can load different teams and save different teams, so like musical flares, it's my kind of other one. You can see we have some skill points to spend, so if I go in here, we have these giant skill trees. This is kind of the meat of the game right here, is trying to build at least 3 monsters that will work well together. So like, do I want to spread bleed stacks with Wrath Ops? Or do I want to do more debuffs? Or do I want to do more damage? Because Wrath Ops I have currently built to be a defender. So if I can help debuff our enemies or just keep Wrath Ops alive, honestly, keeping him alive is probably best. Do I have anything that goes off of his defense? Yeah, off of crit damage. I don't think I have any more crit damage to unlock. I have critical chance. Critical damage is CD+. Nope. No more CD+, so I could just go for more HP. We get a higher health rating, so the health rating is up here. And each little pip represents health points. And by getting one more of these, we would get 333 extra health points, which seems pretty significant. What about defense? Plus 36 defense, that's... I think I'd do it. Then again, we have enough bleed characters. Nah, we'll let them worry about the bleed. Okay, give you some defense. So as you saw, we got a little new pip by the defense. You can also have light shifted and dark shifted monsters. That gives them different abilities. So if we go in here, we have shift stones. And as you can see, we've already got variations unlocked here. The unshifted versions of monsters will show up. We can get light shift or dark shift. So there's a lot of customization here. And there's even items that work, like the Great Pearl, better for your monsters when they are unshifted. So, you know, you've got to think that through, You can get pretty decently far in the game without worrying too much about synergies, I think, but eventually you do need them. You do. And I think there's enough there that if you kind of find out, like with Brutus, he does better with beast monsters. So if we go into the status page, we can see beast, you're a bird, not a beast. Wish I'd known that. Beast and a beast. So we've kind of built this team around the idea of having more beasts and more physical damage with a couple defenders, a couple supports, and a couple DPS guys with Brutus and Stampede over here. Yeah, so Stan is all about doing AoE damage when he can. Right now, we could try to do Shred level 3, which would increase damage by 70%, crit damage by another 10% with the critical hits. Or we could go more single target damage. Now, another thing to note is when you reach level 40, you unlock these ultimates. Only one ultimate can be used per round, basically, on your team. So every monster can have an ultimate, but you can only activate one of them per round. Yeah, and then there are keeper duels where different things happen when you face keepers in that first turn. Your max health help our defense. Which isn't bad, so I think we do that. Yeah, that's a lot more defense. Brutus was having issues staying alive, even with self-shielding stuff that made him hit harder, which is why we had Wrath Ops protect the entire team, but yeah, we might not need that now. We might not need it now. So if I go find another combat, maybe we can show off Brutus a little bit. Alright, so this is the area where we could even mix and match the different monsters. Once you've chosen a third monster, it will immediately start. You don't get another option. So like if I chose Bird here instead of Brutus, it would just immediately start. But we're going to do this team. We will Mega Protect. That will protect at least whoever gets attacked first that's not Wrath Ops. We're going to try to buff everyone with Tsutsune, the Kitsune, or Kitsune, the Tsutsune. And we're going to power focus Brutus so he will hit like a truck. Okay. So now, we've done that. Okay. We got some charge stacks on you as well. Now we can't use Mega Protect until another 2 turns pass. It's every 3 turns they come back, basically. But we could use the Fire Breath ult, or The ram charge, which is what I'm planning to do. We can try to steal some stuff. That seems pretty good. Let's steal your defenses. Yeah, okay. And then you can armor break them while also shielding us, which is pretty good. Rathops is one of the DLC monsters. Okay, and then we can ram charge and probably KO everything. There we go. And we had some bleed stacks to do some damage over time at the end there. Ooh, we got 6 stars. Excellent. Okay, and then, see, there's an item that is equipable. There's a hide +4. And we got some iron and silk if we did need to upgrade anything with those. Cool, cool. So yes, as you can see at level 42, you don't exactly gain more XP at that point, but every time you would have gained a level, you get an item, which makes the late game much easier. A level badge, 42. So, by the end of the game, you have a lot of these level badges, so weaker monsters that you collected earlier, you can just feed level badges if you want, instead of trying to go find them and get a higher level egg or anything like that. And once they reach level 41, you can use this level badge 42 to finish off their experience grind. So yes, that is a pretty good system. I really do feel like they gave you enough progression systems and things, so once you've reached the late game, you can really play around with your monsters more. It does take some time to build teams. You can always look up online. There are plenty of people who love this game and have made some great teams. Some of it might be old information though, so beware of that. Okay, and here I'll show you, if you don't want to get in a fight, you can just smoke bomb. Just be careful not to run into them yet again. But, okay, well. Another smoke bomb down the drain. And to be safe, we will use our wonderful ghost form, wherever it is. Where are you, ghost form? That's the morph ball form. Ah, spore trap, there we go. So now, I can just not worry about them. This is a Forgotten World monster as well. And of course, falling into lava resets where you fall. We're gonna take care of business again. Not taking health damage is pretty useful for your rating. The combo on the top right that you see ticking up, after every creature acts and gets combos, that actually improves the values of whatever move they're using next. Ooh, we got a Salahammer egg. So if we want to, we can just go into our inventory and hatch some eggs at any time. Some of them are light shifted, some are dark shifted once you've unlocked that in the game. That is not immediate, so keep that in mind. We've got our monster journal. So our spectral wolf was the spectral familiar I chose. If you're ever stuck, you can always go to talk, which will also tell you about some of the things you haven't finished. So like I need to talk to an old man, I need to find Bex, if I want to do some more stuff. But I'm mostly done with the game, like pretty much done. And then of course there's save and quit. There's no like immediate save and then you just keep going. Save and quit, but you can just jump back in right here. And voila, here you are. Oh yes, good times. And if I remember correctly, losing makes you lose money in combats. So it's not the end of the world or anything, kind of like Pokemon. But yes, keep that in mind, keep that in mind. It's a good game. You should definitely try it if you enjoy monster taming and or Metroidvanias. There are some points in the game where there are puzzles that are just annoying to deal with. You do not have to do those usually. There might be a few that are necessary for game progression, usually the lever puzzles, but once again, there are probably walkthroughs online, or you can just, watch my playthroughs. And I should have most of that done on video. A few things I think I tried to save time by, not showcasing it. I think that happened like twice. But even then, should be pretty similar. Anyway, let's get our secret vision. Get you. Anything over here? Through the lava? Another thing to note is, I think I've said this multiple times in the playthrough, but sometimes it's better to just jump once. And another thing to note is the hang time on the jump is actually a lot longer than you would think. So double jumping immediately gets you less height than waiting a little bit and then doing your second jump. But yeah, overall, feels pretty decent until you do that. And then you're like, but then you have your wonderful little crystal shard. It'll just take you back to the Keeper's Stronghold. And if you need more, you can always go down here through the Monster's Sanctuary Stronghold. Thank you, Keeper's Stronghold. To go and buy more stuff. So let's see, if I need more crystal shards, you know. Money is honestly a little tight throughout most of the game, but once you've kind of collected enough stuff, you're pretty fine. There's an infinity arena, which is also pretty cool. I think I got past level 100s in monsters to fight. It seemed like Infinity Arena, the best strategy was to kind of have very hard-hitting teams. As a note, just what I did for my teams. So, this was kind of like the original team I ran for a while, and it worked okay. Oculus, or the Mad Eye, Moody, Frosty here, and Chewy, yeah, they all did good. Chewy's a Yowie, Frosty, I'm trying to remember, I think that's just your name, isn't it? What are you, Frosty? Yes. At any rate, there's a lot of customization. You can even feed your monsters different foods, and the food you can replace, it'll move down. So the thing lowest on the recent meals will go away. So if I fed a peanut to someone I want to give more defense to, like this crystal snail, sure. It'll go in there, and it'll keep moving down the list as you feed more stuff. So if you find better foods, you know, you can just kind of feed those to your monsters and see the meals go down. Yeah. Overall, highly enjoyed it. Story-wise, I do think the E10 plus rating is appropriate, just because there's some darker things in here. There are bleed stacks. They talk about people being killed off. I don't want to ruin everything, but there are some monstrous creatures from other worlds. Spoiler warning, I guess. Kind of. At any rate, very good game, but yeah, I'd say kind of middle school age, even if just because the monster aspect with the skills is pretty hard compared to Pokemon or anything like that. There's a lot more in-depth strategizing that needs to go into how you build these things. Like, if you look at Blobby here, he's not very far in his tree. But Chewy, we could have built Chewy entirely differently from being a defender. He could have been like a big ol' bleed ice spear build or something like that. Like, instead of his sustained heal, we could give ram charges and ultimate later on, and so on and so forth. But I liked his defensive healing build, because that was very good throughout the game. In terms of keeping people alive, damage, no. So that is something you could do, and you can always reset your monsters with things like the skill resetter, which you can buy also here in the Keeper Sanctuary later on in the game. Well, dear viewer, this has been a review of Monster Sanctuary. I enjoyed my time with it. I think people who enjoy monster taming games will have fun with it as long as they don't get overwhelmed by the need to be good at platforming occasionally, especially if they're okay with skipping content that seems kind of crazy. Like, there is, in the DLC, spoiler warning, a spot here where it seems like you cannot have any light for jumping over a pit that the platforms keep falling away from you. So I haven't finished that one yet. Don't know if I will, but I'm okay skipping that one because it wasn't necessary for the story, and it was just maybe there's some hidden treasure in there for an item that you'd want or a weapon you'd want. But you can probably get those weapons through the Infinity Arena or just from drops randomly from monsters. So you don't need to do that. It's pretty fun to do if you're okay with platforming. It's a nice little challenge. But yeah, overall, I enjoyed the game quite a bit, and I hope you, dear viewer, have a great day.